All right. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone today?
Feeling pretty good.
Great. How are you?
Well. It's a beautiful day here in Savannah. It rained this morning, but the clouds have cleared and it's a wonderful day outside. A wonderful day to get out and soak in some of that vitamin D.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Texas. The clouds have also diminished, and we are having a beautiful, warm day here in San Antonio. And where are you, Mr. Murray?
Oh, wow. You're in San Antonio. I'm in a place called Georgia. Um, I'm in my home office. So I'm at home in my office here. I was running short on time and didn't have chance to go to my other office. I said, up right here. This is where it is. This is where it is. All right. So I was waiting for the rest of the forecast. Ronetta, you sound like you were getting ready to give us the forecast. And I was like, oh, that girl she just too much, man. She getting ready to give us the forecast.
Well,
You
of
on top
course,
of it.
I can do that. I can give us the sunny forecast for today. It is currently 75 degrees here in the seaport.
Hey, Renetta, as we continue to do our walk,
Yes.
I I I had some cold weather here. I had a little rain here, so I couldn't walk every day. But yesterday, I put in my 15 minutes by skating,
Yes, Tanya, I saw that.
Skating? What kind of skating?
That
Like
was
roller skating?
impressive.
roller skating. And so before I got on the skates, I was just showing my daughter, like, hey, you can do this, you do it like that, you do it like that, you can move and you can move like this, and I
What?
can skate backwards and do this. And so she was like, come on, mama, put your skates on. And I was like, okay, for your birthday, I'll do it, right? I put my skates on and I could glide just a little, only using one foot.
Oh, all right. All
But
right.
I couldn't move the other foot. No,
You
no
could
way.
move the other foot?
And when you get to the curve and you step around, boom, and you put your foot,
Yes,
you
the
couldn't
way we
move.
used to.
Yeah,
The way, come on. Come on.
I had to split on the floor. Woo!
Say an accidental split, huh?
Yeah,
Wait a minute. What I want to know is how did you get up?
with help.
Okay.
I said
Two
very
people.
carefully.
So
Last time I went skating, it must have been around 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And no longer than that. And we brought our boys skating, and Lord Jesus, I made it around the whole ring, but I was so sore when I finished. I was so sore.
yeah,
Lord, I felt like my legs were getting ready to fall off. I only went around maybe 2 times, 3 times. And then one time I couldn't stop. I said, Lord Jesus, I couldn't stop. I said, what am I going to do? So I ran into the wall, and they had this place where you could sit down. I sat there and I waited till the floor was empty. And then I used the handrail to pull myself over to get out. Yes, I did.
so I
Yeah,
can tell you that I have a few little hips. My hip is aching right now just a little bit, but it didn't stop me this morning. I did do some stretches. I didn't walk yet, but plan to still do it today. So I
Wow.
want to also welcome everybody to Financial Sins, where we try to help people with correcting their finances. My name is Tanya Scott, called the Insurance Professor, where we are teaching classes at Get Skills and providing those that want to get into this $1 trillion industry with the resources to pass the insurance exam. And so today I am with my co-host Anthony Murray and our sit-in co-host Miss Renetta Gardner, and let them introduce themselves and tell us about. We'll let Renetta go first, and then Anthony will have you come in and introduce our guest for today.
Yeah, I believe ladies first.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much. My name is Renetta Gardner, or Renetta Milner Gardner. Um, And as always, I'm excited to serve as a guest host here on Financial Sins. I come from the staffing and business consulting arena. That's what I do. I help people focus on their careers and how to transition careers, how to get the better career, what's necessary, what's going on out there. And with business consulting, business to business, how do you get your business up? How do you get that business up and running? And what are some things that you need to be aware of as trends change and as things change, making sure that we all are current. So I am happy to be here. And as always, I'm on my own health journey, and I just enjoy sharing that journey of how we get to the best version of ourselves. So thank you. It's
Well,
on you.
you cut yourself short. Why you cut yourself short? All right, well, my name is Anthony Murray. I don't know why she cut herself short. I was enjoying it. I am with World System Builder, World Financial Group, and I help people grow and protect their wealth. I help people position their money so their money is making money for them, as well as help people with positioning either themselves or their children for their education. What about that? What about helping a family either find money or prepare the paperwork or do something in guidance for their children to move on into the realm of higher education? We have special guests with us today, and we're going to bring them on momentarily, James Cowart and Eric Fisher. And I'm telling you, you really need to call your friend, call your neighbor, call that family that have children in high school or mid 8th grade up, or they just decided to drop out of college because the monies weren't there or whatever the case. Listen, they need to watch this, to listen very intently, because there's a lot of valuable information getting ready to be sprued out, and we want you to be part of it. I'd like to welcome James Cowart and Eric Fisher, our guests today, and they're from a company called Heartland Institute Financial Educators or Education, and they're going to give us some insight as to what they do and how they can help families. Listen, folks, you know we're all about money. We're all about money. We're all about telling people what they can do and what they shouldn't do. Well, this is one of those things where what you can do to better your financial status and to further your education. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, I could barely hear somebody. Was that James? I could barely hear.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear Eric.
Can you hear me?
All right, who just spoke?
I just spoke. This is Eric on the.
Eric, I can hear you fine. All right, James, okay. It was you I couldn't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right, there we go. All right, yeah, we good. We cooking with Crisco now.
Right.
Cooking with Crisco. So, gentlemen, tell us about the organization. Tell us whatever you can tell us. Tell us everything. I mean, give us the 411. The good look. You know, we normally would say, give us the dirty lowdown, right? No, don't give us the dirty lowdown. Give us the good lowdown. Tell us everything. James, why don't we start with you and you introduce Eric?
Sure. Yeah. So we are the Heartland Institute of Financial Education. I work primarily on the college coaching program side of our 501c3 nonprofit. We are national, so we operate in all 50 states. We are a smaller company, so a lot of our business is word of mouth. So it's very important that, people discuss our program with other people that, and we have consultants that we work with through WSB and WFG Transamerica that are vital. That's vital to our success. Like I said, we are not for profit, so we just we have to just keep up, our operating costs, and that's really about it. We're not about, making a lot of money. We're not a private enterprise that's for profit. On the college coaching side, we are about financial education, and more importantly, preparation for college. As you know, college is getting more and more expensive by the year, and the costs are just getting astronomical, to say the least. I mean, when I went to school 20 years ago, it wasn't. I mean, it's been unaffordable now, to say the
Wow.
least. So, um, the average student who goes to school per year, they're having to borrow up to $30,000, $35,000. If that's just a in-state university. If it's out of state, it can be anywhere from 50 to 60,000 per year.
Wow.
So it's vital that students kind of can hit the ground running, and that kind of happens when they're in high school. And so when I was in high school, I was a teenager, so I wasn't really too serious. But I think the more serious that kids can get about college, and the sooner the better. So with our program, we have college coaches who have been
Hmm.
in academia. They all have master's degrees, PhDs, and they come from that world. And they've been doing this for a long time. And our college coaches work with high school students. We also work with students who are in first or second year of college. And what we try to do is, best prepare them while they're in school, whether that be taking AP courses, international baccalaureate courses, directing them with their extracurricular activities, because that can play a key role in the college application process as well. And we also try to deal with the financial aid side and the scholarship side, which is very important. Going to school costs money. So, with that being said, we do work hand in hand with, high school students. The average high school guidance counselor has anywhere between 400 and 500 students that they work with. Our college coaches have anywhere between 40 to 50 kids. Maybe that's even lower now. So the interaction is going to be a lot more personal. It's going to be need based, upon what that student's need is. So it's going to be a lot more individualized and tailored to that particular student. So they're going to get a lot more interaction. But our program does require some work, like anything. And so, with a little bit of work from the student and the family, we try to help them best prepare them for college and getting financial aid and scholarships. And while that's not a guarantee, we do pretty well in terms of the amount of dollars that are awarded to the students that participate in our program. So,
James, let me ask you something. How long has Heartland been around?
well, it's been around for at least 20, 25 years. The college coaching program has been around. It was in development about 20 years ago. It took a while for it to get going. We've been working with Transamerica for about 10 years now. So, we've been around for a while. And so, and our college coaches have been doing this, for a while. And then, with all the, the students that they have, they're pretty well versed in this, and they are experts in their field, and they've been vetted, and it's a really good program, as long as you work it, and the students are willing to do the work.
All right, now let me ask you something. You said it's a pretty good program as long as you work it and the students are willing to do the work. So let's take those two areas and let's talk about as long as you work it first and then the students willing to do the work. What do you mean by as long as you work it?
Well, that just means being diligent in high school, making sure that, I mean, the coaches aren't going to do homework for the student, obviously. So, grades are obviously, important, but grades are not everything. Obviously extracurricular activities play a key role sometimes, sports, but also just making sure that they're doing the research necessary in order to pick the degree for them.
All right, now they do the
This is an
research. So go right ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, this is an investment of time. So,
Mhm.
The coaches are going to make sure that the student is wanting to do what they like and what they're passionate about, but also something that's going to be realistic and applicable to the field, in that particular field. So, there's going to be, the coach is going to, want them to do some research about what kind of particular studies, they're interested in. If they have any idea about what colleges, they're interested in. But, that will be fleshed out though too with that college coach. So much of, high school is trying to find yourself and what your calling is and what your, what your passion is too. So,
Yeah, I think
and
when I
that,
went to college, I must have changed. I changed majors, was it once or twice? My daughter changed majors 2 or 3 times. I was like, honey, what you going to do now? And then I remember the
right.
next year after that saying, honey, what you going to do now? And then finally, she finally settled down. I was like, whew, boy, because it was getting expensive. But,
Yeah.
every
It's
change
expensive
there.
investment.
So thank you, James. Can we hear from Eric a little bit so we can begin to see if our audience has any questions?
All right, now let's tie Eric in just a minute, because what Eric is actually in the field. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
What does that mean, in the field?
So, if I may, to tie in what James is talking about, the Heartland Institute is a national nonprofit. Our sole mission as a 501c3 is to promote financial literacy. The way in which we do that is we have two sides to our institute. One is the college planning side, as James is referring to. And to clarify what James is talking about with the college planning, is we've partnered with WSB to provide them a resource for college planning. So you, as financial professionals who are just getting into the business or have been in the business, have an opportunity to promote college planning to your prospects, to your families, to your clients, and using the Institute to do that. So the Institute is a way in which for you to offer college planning. In fact, what I would say is, as a college planning consultant for a national nonprofit, your sole purpose is to introduce families to the Institute. And from there, the Institute will actually provide the college planning tools necessary for the families. So in essence, you don't even need to know the specifics around what college planning is. Don't let it overwhelm you to say, I don't know anything about college planning. Why would I do this? You're really just the introduction to the Institute and being part of a partner with the Institute to provide this service to your clients. And doing that, once you get a family in the Institute to do college planning, then you have an opportunity to build that relationship and look for more business opportunities with that family, specifically that might stem around college planning. So whether it's additional life insurance needs, whether it's additional savings and investments for college, that's where now you become the advisor or associate available to help them. So that's really where the partnership is a good marriage between WSB consultants and the Institute. What I do is I've been in the field. I've been a certified financial planner for 20 years. I've been in financial service industry for 27 years. And I do this as my occupation. And in doing so, I'm also a instructor and trainer for advisors that want to become a certified financial educator. So the second half of the Institute is that we have a program to provide not only a national FINRA recognized designation for associates, which is a certified financial educator, but in addition to the designation in and of itself, we offer a turnkey program for you to be able to go out and teach financial wellness classes as a certified financial educator for the National Nonprofit Institute. So again, it's a marketing opportunity. If you so desire, you have any inclination to present yourself as an educator and to teach financial classes, the Institute might be a good resource for you in order to do that if that's what you so desire. So that's all I do for my business is I go out to companies, present myself as an educator for a national nonprofit to teach financial wellness classes. And then from those classes, I obviously have opportunities to meet with people and develop client relationships. So it's basically a dual process where I take off my educator hat and then I put on my financial planning, financial advisor hat, and I make a distinguishing difference between the two. But in essence, that's really the house that I live in within the Institute is the certified financial educator standpoint. James handles and helps associates with the college planning aspect of the Institute. So that somewhat gives you a little better understanding of the Institute and what we have to offer and why we have partnered with Swan and WSB to provide you a resource, basically, depending on how you want to structure your business.
All right, now, man, that's powerful. I hope you guys are catching all this. I hope our guest today will have opportunity to invite friends and family, especially if they have students. That's critical, students. All right, now we know this is going to air again, but y'all need to get firsthand information. Now, let me ask you something. Let's talk about what most people want to hear about. How do they get the money? And let's. I'm a student. Let's say I'm a student. Say that again, Tanya.
I was saying, can we start from the beginning? So,
Yeah.
what age do students need to be when they get started? Is this a program that should start for them in the 9th grade? That's what your parents. Most of our clients are. Most of our guests are going to be parents, and so getting their children prepared, which we know that most of us are focused on so many other things. Mm-hmm. Once our children come into the world, that financial planning for college just kind of goes off. So now that we're ready and we're looking at them, they're in 9th grade. Is this the time to join a program, or how do you help them? Because we all depend on the high school counselors to do a lot of work too.
Right.
So yeah, we work with students as young as 2nd semester of 8th grade, and we go all the way up through senior and even 1st or 2nd year of college. So yeah, high school age is a prime age, particularly. So we have people that work with us for all 4 years of high school. Sometimes people join us in their junior year. A lot of financial aid applications and admittance procedures go on within that transitional time from their junior year to senior year of high school. So that's the prime age in which we work with. So it will be 8th grade, 2nd semester, all the way through high school, but they can join at any time. We also have renewals every year, and if they decide to stick with us for an extra year, an extra 2 years, it's a significantly reduced cost. So it behooves them to stick with us and to utilize the program for several years, and that's what we try to reward and incentivize as well.
Well, thank you. One of our guests just said, hey, something like this really should be mandatory. Thank you for that comment, because it is important that we get this information as quickly as possible so that we as parents aren't scrambling, during that senior year. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to pay for college. So this is, some really good information to share, and being able to tell us, what we should do as parents to prepare. Are there any scholarships offered for students who desire to attend? Yeah, so let's talk about that. This is a good segue. Thanks for that question. As you can see on the screen there, for students who desire to attend higher education institutes that may not have the financial resources, right, to make that dream a reality? Great question. So that's a great segue to continue the conversation, James.
Right. Yes. I mean that is vital, and that's where the financial aid piece comes in. That's so vital too, right? So the FAFSA is very important to fill out, but also scholarships. Now there are tens of thousands of scholarships that go unclaimed every year, and there's ones that I'm not, I still don't know about that sometimes our college coaches do. They've been doing this for a long time. So we try to get as much financial aid to these people as possible, to the students as possible. And some of it is based on merit. Some of it is based on, their finances too, need-based. So all that is a factor and goes into it. So because the cost is astronomical, there's a plethora of scholarships that are available, not only through the federal government, but also that's offered by the state, and in turn offered by individual schools as well. So it kind of goes down the tiered. So there's 4 different types of things that we can draw upon in which financial aid can be offered through scholarships, and obviously grants as well. So.
All right, Eric. Now, so you work directly with the students, Eric?
I do not. So I'm not what James is referring to as a coach. So within our college planning program, which James is an integral part of that, and that's what he's speaking on behalf. Once a family becomes a client or a customer of the Institute for college planning, they will be designated a financial college coach from the Institute. So we have a staff of a half a dozen to a dozen coaches, I don't know the exact number, that are assigned student relationships. And they keep those relationships throughout their high school tenure to basically get into college. So the college coach is the resource to help them stay on track with certain tasks that the students need to take on and accomplish in conjunction with their counselors at high school. So they have basically the student has a team around them. They have their parents, hopefully, number one, right? They have their high school counselor, number two, in terms of the class and coursework that they need to take. And then they would have a financial coach, college coach from the Institute to help them understand not only what their financial aptitude and assessment might be as far as what direction or what they might want to accomplish in life, even though it could change 8 times by the time they get to college, help them identify their skills, their skill sets, what they might want to do, and start to plan accordingly in high school to find a college that would suit those desires. So in doing that, we have a financial coach that they are assigned, and they have that relationship throughout whenever they join, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, until they go into college, where we're trying to help them not only prepare to write essays, do applications, find financial aid, whether it's scholarships, whether it's loans through the FAFSA, whatever the case might be. That's what the coach is there for, and that's an employee of the Institute that's offered to the students and to the families. So I'm not one directly working with the students. What I do is I actually do use the Institute for my clients' college planning as well, but I'm a financial advisor, such as your role, where I'm introducing families to the Institute, but I'm not actually handling the student on a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year basis as the coach is that's with the Institute, if that helps make any sense.
Sure. Now, let me ask you something, because I believe it was Miss Brown. I'm gonna go there because I can't say her first name. Miss Brown, who came up with the question: what about when they're in college and they want to participate in this program? Do you help them find monies when they're already in college?
We do. That's going to be primarily take place within their first or second year of college when they're still doing their general studies. But we do work with people that are in college as well. And financial aid is given to people that are already in college. So, that is
What
a
about
possibility.
scholarships?
Scholarships as well. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no specific rule or cutoff. We are very flexible. Our coaches are very flexible too. And so, based upon the circumstances and the need of that particular person, they will do their best to match that student with financial aid and scholarships. And it's not out of bounds, for somebody to go back to school in their 30s. I know plenty of people that have, and we have worked with students who have been in their 30s too. So it really runs the gamut. But yeah, primarily we do work with people that are going to be in high school or second year of college.
So there is hope. I feel blessed now. There's hope for me.
There's always hope, Anthony. Do you know that? There's always hope.
Hey, listen, I have a statement here from Pamela, and Pamela, she's been on she hasn't been on our show. She's been in our show like this. All right, it is advisable to seek scholarship that are based on field of study, i.e. pharmacy. In other words, scholarships dealing specifically with a course of study. All right. And now I heard one of the weirdest things a while ago that there's scholarships out there also. For instance, someone's parents have diabetes, or the student is too short or something like that, something weird. There's scholarships out there for different types of family scenarios.
There are.
Let's talk on that a little.
Yes, I mean, and back to that question. I mean, the more specific, like that's a very specific thing. Pharmacy, yes. I mean, that'll make the coach's job, easier too. But it's the coach's job though too to find those type of scholarships. But there are scholarships that are completely random, and there's monies out there that people don't know about, people would love to award that, institutions, and so the state, the government. So there are several random ones. I like to compile a list, and maybe that would be good for the future, of just the sheer randomness of some of these scholarships that are out there. But there are, and it is pretty interesting. So I'll make a note of that because I am curious myself.
Yeah. Well, go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, to answer the question, yes, that does help. And there are scholarships based upon field of study, their interests, people who are disadvantaged, people that even have, some sort of, obviously physical disability, sometimes even, developmental disability. So yes, there are. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of scholarships out there.
Wow. So you said that there's a cost to the program for your coaching. So what's the cost? And then is there assistance for parents?
So yes, the cost of the program, and we offer payment plans as well, so it makes it a little bit easier. But the cost is going to be $26.95. That's $2,695 for the first year. We offer, like I was talking about earlier, renewals. That's going to be $650 per calendar year after that. And we do offer payment plans for the first year, which they can either make the full payment or they can break up the payments equally over 10 months, or they can pay $1,000 down and then pay off the remainder over 9 months. And then, we have promotions that we run too, several times in which we give discounts. And we just got done doing a discount, but we're going to offer another discount, and that is going to be $200 off for what's called option A enrollment, which is the full enrollment. So, and the option A plan, which is the full paying it all at once. So if somebody enrolls, if a family pays for this program, the $26.95, they'll get a discount of $200. So it'd be $24.95.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and
the parent is probably the one that's usually seeking the most assistance. So are you all really working with the parent when they, they're confused about FAFSA? They're confused about scholarships and how to get their child to college. Usually those students that excel, then things kind of just happen. But if you have the everyday BC student, and the parent making not more than minimum wage, but let's say just a $50,000 income, and have, children trying to get them in school. I guess I'm still trying to figure out, do you really help the parent? Because they're the ones with the most confusion when this happens. A kid just says, hey, I want to go to school because, Renetta's going to school. I want to go to school because I see my friends doing it. And now they don't have the funds to get them in. So how much do you all work with the parent in order to get a child into school?
So the parents can be as involved as they want to be in the program. So the college coach is going to have a relationship with the student, but they're also going to have a relationship with their parents as well, because a lot of these people are minors, and they're paying for it. So yes, the coaches do work hand in hand with a lot of these parents, and also they work hand in hand with our consultants from WFSB, WFG as well. A lot of times our consultants are very hands-on, and they want to kind of know what the status is going on within these, that particular student they help enroll. So they can be super involved as they want to be, and the coach is more than willing to open up those lines of communication with the parent as well, and walk them through the process hand in hand. And a lot of the families that we work with, they're first generation Americans. Sometimes, they have they're on an F1 or an H4 visa, and they don't know all the ins and outs of how to get financial aid. They don't know. They've only been in the country for 10 or 15 years, and so they don't know what's out there. And we work with a lot of those students. So our college coaches are well versed in that, and I'd say about 80% of our students, are first generation students that are trying to study here. And it's it's nice that we can help out those families, and give them a leg up as well when they come over here.
Okay. Someone asked, is there a GPA requirement to be a part of this program for a high school student, or for that, for the freshman, sophomore college student? Someone just asked that question.
Yeah. Eric, you want to address that?
As far as the GPA requirement, James, I'll defer to you on that one. As far as being in the program,
Okay.
I don't believe there is, but I'd be wrong.
There is a minimum. It's I believe it's pretty low. It's 2.0 GPA.
Oh, I would make it then. I would make it. I would make it.
So what is that? A C average, I think. So
that's the C average. Yeah.
So that's our requirement, but it's pretty doable. I think so.
And I'll interject. I did see the question about community service on an application, how important that is. And I would say that's actually that's extremely important. If there's any way or form or fashion that you can show on an application that you've provided some community service, that will provide the institution a second look. I do believe it's a stronghold from what the coaches have shared with us and what the students need to do or consider doing, throughout their high school career. So the simple answer is yes. Any community service would definitely be looked upon favorably on a student's application to enroll.
Community service such as
Anything. I mean,
Doesn't matter.
helping out at
That's really broad.
Yeah. You can't get pigeonholed in there. I think anything you can do that you're showing a service to the public and a need,
okay.
That's community service, right? Whether it's at a church, whether it's at a homeless shelter, whether it's disadvantaged families that you're going to help ride share. I don't know. I mean, shoveling your neighbor's sidewalk, it could be a community service, right? So,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. What about, so we're talking about, helping the parent and helping the student. We know that in application processes now, you have to do things like develop essays for certain types of college applications. How do you handle, that aspect? Is that something that you cover with a parent and a student? Because as Tanya was saying, students decide, hey, I want to go to this particular school because that's where all of our friends are going. And we know that certain applications from different institutions require different things. So do you guys cover that as part of the service, so that students and parents understand exactly what's involved in completing a college application?
We do. Yeah, we have a dedicated team of essay reviewers that we work with. And so the coach will forward off these essays over to our essay reviewers. And this is all they do. All they do is review essays. So we are dedicated to that immensely. And that is going to go a long way, obviously, in knowing how it's formatted, grammatically, punctuation and all of that. So that will be double checked by a dedicated team of essay reviewers. And yeah, essays are very important. And there's a lot of them too. So, I mean, obviously,
yes, there are.
Yeah, and that can be overwhelming. And that's that's part of doing the work too. But we have people that will double check all that, make suggestions, and then there can be a back and forth and exchange between the essay reviewer, the coach, and the student. And then with our full enrollment comprehensive program, that is unlimited. So they could have 10, 15, 20 essays reviewed, and that won't be a problem. So that's a very good asset to have.
So as part of the fee, do you all pick up any of the application fees for the universities?
No, unfortunately, we do not. That will have to be paid by the parent. Our costs are pretty low. So, the $26.95 just goes right back into our operating costs, and that is it. So it is pretty low. Some of these there are other places that offer college planning, but they're for profit and their costs are 5 times the amount. So we try to keep it as cost effective as possible, and our price has gone down actually, and over the years it hasn't gone up like everything else. So it is a good value.
Hey, you know what? This is critical. What you're talking about, Tanya, go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask one last question, and that was, in this world of technology and everything's on the internet, can a person just look up for scholarships? Are you all doing anything different than looking those things up, or what are you doing different that they couldn't do on their own?
So we have several software programs. One of them is called Cooter, and so that is we pay for that as a nonprofit every month, and so that is a tool that we use. We also have College App, which is another tool that we use as well. And the coaches have several ones that they use that they like to use. And so that is obviously a lot more involved than just Googling something. And just based upon their breadth of knowledge too, that's going to be a lot more significant as well. So all of those factors come in where the average person just Googling something isn't going to be able to find, all these resources, the literature that's involved with this as well. So no, our college coaches and our, the programs that we have are a lot more involved and detailed than what you can find just by a simple internet browse.
Okay. And then some of the universities and colleges have their own scholarships within it. Is your software able to search within those?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. Yes, for sure. Cooter is for sure. And also, when a student gets involved in a program, one of the first things that the college coach does is they're going to work with them with their Cooter administrative accounts and set them up. And they're going to take, 3 tests. One of them is going to be kind of like a personality test. The other one is going to be a little bit more like an aptitude test as well. But that's going to match them also with scholarships as well. Kind of set them on like a different a career path or what's recommended as well. So a little bit of it is like a Briggs-Meyer, but a little bit of it isn't. And so, but that's a resource that we like to use as well. But that's one of the first things that we do once they get involved in the program. So usually what the process is that after they enroll, within 2 business days, the college coach is going to be talking to that particular student, family, parent, and then starting this process ASAP. So.
Hey, here's a good question for you guys. Have college applicants been increasing or decreasing in the last 5 years?
So I would say it was increasing. Obviously, with COVID, it decreased a little bit. So, but that, obviously, I mean, everything was, it was extenuating.
Everything decreased with COVID for a minute there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, but the trajectory is that applicants, it is going up, and so there is a little more competition, but that's life. So, for a while it was decreasing, but we're on an upward trajectory again, and things are starting to normalize. So that's where we're at.
Hey, now a question for either one of you. Do you guys work with or totally separate from the high school counselors?
We are totally separate. So we
Okay.
do not work with the high school guidance counselors. A lot of times what we find is that the high school guidance counselors, they're working with the entire student body sometimes, so that could be 400, 500, 600 kids, within that particular, graduating class. So if it's so they're inundated and they're not going to provide anything close to what we offer, which is going to be a lot more hands-on, a lot more interactive, and a lot more tailored to that individual. So we do not do that, on a school basis or with a high school guidance counselor. No.
Well, y'all have provided us with such wonderful information. If we can wrap up, what is it that you want to leave with our audience today?
Well, I would like to thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that we could inform everybody. This is knowledge obviously is power, and so this program does work. If you work it, I think I've heard that somewhere before, but anyway, so it's just thank you for your participation. And if you want to reach out, I can provide my email address as well, and we're more happy to discuss this further on a one-on-one basis. Whatever you guys need, we'll be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, Eric, go right ahead. I want to hear from you.
Yes, I would just echo what James said. I think as a parent with children, actually, I just had one in her freshman year this past fall, and I have one that's a senior in high school that is going into college here this coming fall. And then I have 2 little ones that are still 9 and 8-year-old crazy little guys. So I'm in the throes of it. And what I know and what I've experienced recently, especially with my older 2 children, is college is no joke. It's stressful. The parents, it's overwhelming, specifically for the parents as far as the FAFSA in and of itself, looking for opportunities. How am I going to afford it? Is my child ready? All these thoughts go through your head. Launching them, right? Empty nesters, getting them out of the house. That could be a good thing. You might be saying, yes, they're going on to college, but you know what? It is, it's your babies, and you want to do the best for them and what they're trying to accomplish. So again, what the Institute here is for is a resource, and anything we can do to offer assistance or help or guidance, that's really what you would be paying for, and hopefully executing that to help your kids get into the schools they desire, they wish, the most cost-effective, efficient way, and the right one, right? The last thing you want to do is just get into a school and 2 years in, 3 years in, you figure out this is not for you, or this isn't the right major. You got another 3 or 4 years then if you switch, and then it costs you even more money. So instead of a 4-year degree, it takes you 6 years to get through college, and it's that much more resources and finances to do so. So again, starting them young as possible, freshman year, 8th grade, as James mentioned. The sooner the better. It's never too early to plan. It's never too late to plan either. Keep that in mind, that, again, the Institute is a resource for you that if you so desire, you can find out more and see if it's a good fit for your family. And we'd obviously welcome the opportunity to help, because that's what we're in the business to do. So, I just wanted to echo what James says, and I want to appreciate everyone's time for joining the podcast.
Awesome. Hey, listen, guys, I want to thank you so much for being with us. We got to wrap this up. We had a question for contact information. Folks, my number is scrolling across the screen. I'm sorry we did not put the contact information up for you at this time, but you could call me and I will provide their emails, and you can email them and get direct contact with them. When you're ready for the program, you're ready to jump into the program, you can contact myself or Matt Flo. All right. And we will help you to get set up with their program, with their college program. It is absolutely phenomenal. Let me mention this last little tidbit. Last year, they were able to help 200 students with around $30 million in scholarship. Now, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of students, and it's nothing to shake a stick at. So I would strongly suggest that you spread this podcast, share it. All right. There's going to be some great opportunities for your family. And I know this program will benefit you as it has benefited hundreds, thousands, and thousands of others. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you for your time. My name is Anthony Murray, and my co-host is
Tanya Scott Pilcher, and we'll be back next week with you on Financial Sins at 1:00. So we ask you to bring your lunch.
Bring your lunch.
Bring your lunch. Take care. Y'all have a great day.
Take care,
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Wow, that was phenomenal. That was absolutely phenomenal. So as I mentioned, guys, contact me. My number's scrolling on the bottom, and I will be more than happy to provide your emails and phone numbers for you, or emails at least. Okay? Thanks again. Tanya, take us away.
All right. Remember to share, and we will see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Back to that.